Welcome everyone to this celebration of a milestone in the history of the University of Central Florida, to the celebration of President Hitt's 20 years of leadership. I've been a faculty member at UCF since President and Mrs. Hitt's arrival. And during President Hitt's tenure, I have experienced the greatly enhanced quality of the education that UCF offers its students. The increase in access to higher education that is best attested to by President Hitt's conferral of 170,000 degrees, and the incredible growth in this university's contribution to the economic well-being of our Central Florida region. This success is indeed remarkable. Equally remarkable, however, is the anticipation of these accomplishments by President Hitt in his inaugural address. Here is an excerpt from that 1992 address given by President Hitt. And he said, "Our plans for UCF spring from a vision of modern metropolitan university serving the needs of the fastest growing city in the fastest growing region of Florida. We see UCF as a vital cultural and intellectual resource, an indispensable force for economic development in Central Florida. We are committed to offering access to high-quality, affordable education, to providing the highly educated workforce a modern economy must have to flourish, to producing and transferring the scientific and technical knowledge necessary for the creation of well-paying jobs. To plan for the fulfillment of this ambition, I have formulated 5 university goals," said President Hitt. "To offer the best undergraduate education available in Florida, to achieve international prominence in key programs of graduate study and research, to provide an international focus for curricula and research programs, to become more inclusive and diverse, to be America's leading partnership university." And he concludes, "I'm convinced that if UCF achieves these goals, it will be America's leading metropolitan university, and even more importantly, we will be a vital force in Central Florida's development as the nation's most dynamic, vibrant regional economy." From our perspective 20 years later, his words are certainly prophetic. President John C. Hitt, with the intellect of a scientist, with the courage of an offensive lineman, and with a heart as big as Texas, he has kept faith with his vision, and today, UCF is one of the great metropolitan research universities in our nation. And we are here today to celebrate that success of Martha and John Hitt, which is also our success.
The first week of office, I got a phone call, and it was from President Hitt. And he was calling to congratulate me and notify me of some of the things that were going on at the university at that time. And at the end of the conversation, he says, "All right, well, goodbye, Matt." And I respond, "Goodbye, John." And I was with my sister at the time, and she looks over at me and she goes, "Oh, you made a new friend, John. Who is this?" And I go, "Leah, that was the president of the University of Central Florida. That was President Hitt." And I was so embarrassed and I was so uncomfortable. But, you know, President Hitt, you never mentioned that again, and I thank you for that a lot. But over these past few months, as I've grown to know you, I've met someone that is the epitome of a servant leader. You serve with humility. You listen. You're receptive to the needs of those around you. As students, you value our participation. You value our input. You value the input of your team members, members of the UCF community, and members of the local community, and we appreciate you for that. UCF is privileged to have you as our leader. Mrs. Hitt, you have an uncanny ability to make people feel welcome, accepted, and comfortable in any environment. And I know some of you who know me may not believe this, but I'm shy at times. And You don't understand how much it really meant to me to come into a new environment and just feel so warm. So thank you for that. Personally, I view you both as role models. I view you as mentors. In looking back and reflecting on just these past few months, I've realized that a lot of the things I've learned from you will prove to be invaluable in my future success and my future endeavors. So thank you. Thank you a lot. I want to thank you both for your service. I want to thank you both for your friendship. And I want to let you know that I appreciate you and that UCF students, we as a student body, we appreciate you for these past 20 years. So thank you, and I wish you the best.
You know, John, it hardly seems possible it was more than 20 years ago that we had that first dinner together, and everybody just fell in love with you, Martha. But those of us working on the search for our fourth president said we also knew, John, that we loved you and that you were not only tall in stature but in vision and in character. I just can't tell you how grateful we all are with the decision for you to come here. I often come on campus, as we did today, and look for the place I went to school, and it's got to be hidden here someplace. But little did I know that night at dinner that you two would become such a special part of our lives. Shelley and I are so honored to consider you close friends. We've enjoyed so many things together. John's counting the golf matches, dinners and trips together, and I know that the girls are really appreciative that you made me your unofficial away date on a lot of football games so they could get out of the service. In all seriousness, this community, all of us, owe you an incredible thank you. It's not just about UCF, although all students and all graduates have to be grateful for what you've done to the value of our degrees. And it's not just about Orlando, although the UCF brand has had an enormous impact on Orlando's reputation nationally and internationally. As Jeb Bush wrote in today's Orlando Sentinel, John Hitt, you're a national leader, and what you've done for our university will not only never be forgotten, but always appreciated, and we honor you on this special day, and thank you for bringing Martha back to us.
I had sort of thought I'd be a little bit later in the program and everybody would have said such grandiose things, because I have just a few anecdotes I thought I would share with you that relate to faculty as well. Back in 1962, when President Hitt came to UCF, one of the things he said was that he wanted to meet and hear from students, faculty, and staff. So he announced an open door policy. Every Friday, I believe between 2 and 3 p.m., you could go by and see the president. Didn't have to have an appointment or anything. So one Friday afternoon, I had the temerity to take him up on his offer. I figured he offered, and those of you who know me knew I would. I decided I would go and pay him a visit. When I entered his administrative assistant's office, they inquired about the topic I wanted to discuss, and I said nothing special. I was just responding to his request to hear from us. I have to say he greeted me graciously as I was admitted to his office, and I introduced myself as a faculty member of the Department of Sociology and Anthropology, a longtime faculty senator, and said I mainly wanted to welcome him to UCF and Central Florida. And we had a nice conversation, my noting that I lived in Oviedo, which is just 5 miles north of campus, and hoped he'd have a chance to get to know many of the other surrounding communities and areas. We talked about the Faculty Senate, and also I talked about Oviedo and different, events that went on, mentioning Great Day in the Country and so on, and hoped that he and Martha could one day attend. I encouraged him to reach out to the faculty, telling him about our history, that it had been one in which faculty genuinely wanted to work with the president and the administration. I will stop here and make note, Beryl Colburn is here today, and it's sort of the tradition. He reached out to faculty and engaged with us, and so I wanted to reinforce the fact that I knew President Hitt would want to consult with us and share ideas with us. He thanked me for visiting, and I left. And I'm happy to report he took us up on that offer. In addition to President Hitt's open door policy of 1992 was his reaching out to students and staff. I'd see him walking around campus, talking with different students and faculty and staff. Today, we know that with 58,000 students, if he met them all in his office, he'd be doing it nonstop. But he has still continued to try and reach out, and so he often goes to all the colleges at least once or twice a year. He connects with faculty and staff and students around the campus so that we have a chance to hear the updates and be able to ask questions and voice our opinions and concerns. Another anecdote I'd like to share is his outreach to meet students. At least once a year when he first came, he would meet and greet students and serve ice cream outside Millikan Hall. It was significant to students because he'd be in his shirt sleeves, serve ice cream, and talk with students. Students thought it was great, and as long as it didn't get too warm, such as with melted ice cream on a day like today, students got to really interact with their president. Even today, President Hitt still regularly holds open discussion meetings with students here at the Union and at other events as well. Back in 1992, before he got here, we thought UCF had come far. We numbered 22,000 students. That was something. President Hitt had the vision of where we could go. 10 years later, 2002, under his leadership, we had accomplished so much. Yet we had no idea what could happen in the next 10 years, now 2012. 10 years later, we are a remarkable 58,000 students. More colleges, a medical college, and we're a Research One institution. So we know it's not just numbers. We have advanced and grown as an academic institution and partner with surrounding institutions and businesses and have a positive influence upon our community. So let me say, based on the previous 20 years in 10-year increments, I can't imagine what else can happen even in the next 5 years. All I can say is hold on to your hats, because you ain't seen nothing yet. President Hitt, Martha, congratulations, and on behalf of the faculty, thank you.
I'm in awe of your integrity, your wisdom, your vision, and your temper. It was a wonderful partnership, and I cherish it. Many of you have spoken already about the wonderful things that John has done, and we'll hear more of that from other people. But I thought that I would tell you some things that you probably don't know about John. For one, he can be very ornery. If I said the sky was blue, he would say it was green. If I said you need to take the 408 to get there, he would take the 417. If I said it was up, he'd say no, it was down. He has a wicked sense of humor. Bob Holmes had this policy in Board of Trustees meetings to charge you $10 if your phone rang, and that money would go to the foundation. Well, John put my cell phone number on his speed dial. And when he got a little bored in a Board of Trustees meeting, he would call me. And one board meeting, he called me twice, and I had to pay twice. His sense of humor is especially wicked. And when it comes to picking out birthday cards, and I think he goes around all year looking for the wickedest birthday cards he can possibly find. The ones he sent me were always awful. And he teased me unmercifully about my age. And I always had to point out to him, John, you're older than I am. And finally, he's a mushpot. He often gets very emotional at sad situations and injustices. He often very quietly makes personal contributions to students and others in need. And when I was writing his speeches, I had to be very careful to put his emotional comments in the last paragraph so that I could be certain that he would get through the speech. So endearing. All in all, he's a pretty great guy to work for. John and Martha, I love you both. Happy anniversary.
Dr. and Mrs. Hitt, I remember meeting you for the first time, my freshman year as a UCF football player. We were on our way to our first away game for the season, and at 18 years old, it was my first time on a plane, ever. We flew from Orlando, Florida to Peoria, Illinois, in a constant rainstorm. Needless to say, even though we won 35-0, that first experience was not a great one for me. However, throughout the years, I would experience a multitude of firsts that I am extremely thankful for, and all have come under your leadership, Dr. Hitt. I was a member of your first freshman class in 1992. Together, we first opened the Student Union in 1997. As an employee of the UCF Arena, we hosted a forum on peace and reconciliation in the world, featuring Nobel Peace Prize winners Archbishop Desmond Tutu and Dr. Oscar Arias. This was back in November of 1999, a first for the university. Although I left the university professionally for a few years, the urge and the desire to come back home and experience more of those firsts with UCF was always with me. And now, as a proud employee who runs interference for the UCF Alumni Association, I am back where I've always wanted to be, home, experiencing those firsts with my alma mater and her president, like the opening of the Fairwinds Alumni Center, the new UCF Arena, and the Bright House Network Stadium, and many, many more. Dr. and Mrs. Hitt, I thank you for your unwavering dedication, wisdom, and visionary leadership in making this university a place where first matters. I look forward to the years to come where I can experience many more UCF milestones, with the exception of riding another airplane. Thank you, and congratulations.
I tend to tell my listeners on WDBDO that I may not always be correct, but I'm always right. And Dr. Hitt, it is a pleasure that you proved me right as a member of the selection committee 20 years ago with Roger Pinn and others who chose you to come and lead our alma mater. Once in a while, I get it correct too, and that's a nice thing. We appreciate that. But as a member of the Board of Governors, I have to tell you, it is a phenomenon when you attend Board of Governors meetings. If you've not done that, good choice. But if you do attend a Board of Governors meeting, you'll see a phenomenon in the room. And what happens is, every once in a while, President Hitt looks up from his BlackBerry and weighs in to the conversation. And it is one of those E.F. Hutton moments. The room goes silent, and the answer emerges. It is a phenomenal thing. And then you hear it all around the room. It's kind of best president in the system. Everybody says it. Everybody knows it. So on behalf of the Board of Governors, your leadership in the state university system, and for making mine and the other 200,000 plus UCF degrees more valuable, Mr. President, we do thank you for your service, your time, and your commitment to our alma mater.
It is really an honor for me today to have this opportunity to represent the University Board of Trustees as we congratulate Dr. Hitt on his 20th anniversary at the University of Central Florida. There is really not much that I can add to the amazing list of accomplishments which have been cited that have transpired during his 20-year tenure here at UCF. 20 years that have transformed this university, its students, our alumni, and our Central Florida community. I had an opportunity this weekend, as well as other folks I can tell, to read his inaugural speech from November 19th, 1992. I was impressed by his vision. He saw the opportunity that awaited him here at UCF and laid out a plan to get us started, reaching for that potential. Our community and many of us have grown up with this university, in particular those of us early graduates. As I returned to campus as a volunteer, first on the foundation board, and most recently on the Board of Trustees, I have enjoyed a front row seat that has enabled me to watch John in action. As the years have passed and I've had an opportunity to work with John more and more, I have become more and more impressed by him. I have to admit that in many occasions I really see Dr. Hitt as that older, respected professor. You know, that one that is always trying to steer us in the right direction as we move forward with difficult decisions. Hopefully, all of us had one of those professors during our college years, the one that really pushed us and encouraged us to extend beyond our comfort zone. He knows firsthand how higher education can empower an individual, and he has worked diligently to make sure that our university is committed to providing access to the many students that aspire to receive a college education. The students come on this campus, and their parents and them entrust us and their future to this university. I have been blessed to have had my daughters reach the decision to attend UCF, and I hope that in the future they and I will have the opportunity to entrust their children's future to this great university. That future is bright, as I am confident that John will continue to work hard to ensure that UCF becomes America's leading metropolitan university. I truly believe that Dr. Hitt was the perfect person that came to the right place at the right time. He saw opportunity, developed the vision, and applied his professional experience to continue to lead UCF on its journey to the stars. He and Martha have dedicated 20 years of their lives to us, to UCF. They truly love this university. In my book and in his heart, I know that John is a knight of knights. Congratulations on an amazing, unheard of 20 years. I can't wait to see what's next, John. Thank you.
If you now, please, will turn your attention to the video screens on both sides of the room, here are a few more special people who also want to celebrate this occasion.
Hi, Dr. and Mrs. Hitt. It's Jayanne, proud UCF alum from 2003 and 2005. I had the distinct pleasure of serving under your leadership as both the chair of the President's Leadership Council and as a constituent relations staff member. When I look back on my time at UCF, the relationship that I formed with both of you is definitely one of my best memories. Now that I'm out in the real world, I can see just how significant the impact your vision and leadership has been on the city of Orlando and the Central Florida community, and I know it will be for years to come. Congratulations to you both on a fantastic 20 years at UCF, and I can't wait to see what you still have up your sleeve.
Hi, Dr. and Mrs. Hitt. This is Charlene Stanberry here, former PLC chair. And I just want to let you know that we are so excited to be able to celebrate with you in your anniversary. Thank you for all that you've done for UCF, and I can't wait to see the great things that you're going to continue to do in the near future. Thank you for always being a role model to us and truly embodying the spirit of UCF. Happy anniversary.
Hello, I'm Sharon Hitt, and I have the honor to call John Hitt my dad. Congratulations on your 20th anniversary at UCF, Dad. I'm very proud of you, and I'd say here's to another 20 years, but you might not appreciate that. Love you very much, and big congratulations to you.
Greetings and congratulations from the University of Oxford, President Hitt. My name is Dr. Tyler Fisher, and I attended UCF from 1999 to 2003, when I graduated with degrees in English literature and in Spanish. I then went on to the University of Oxford for doctoral studies in Spanish, and I now teach here, teaching Spanish literature and history. Even in my 4 years as an undergraduate at UCF, I watched the university make great strides in terms of student experience and the overall quality of campus. And in the years since, I've watched as the university continues to go from strength to strength. I know that a large part of this is due to President Hitt's leadership and service. Congratulations and gratitude on 20 years, President Hitt. May you continue to lead for many more. I know that your leadership will have a lasting impact for many years to come.
Hi, Dad. Sorry that Julie and the boys and I can't be down there to celebrate this great occasion with you and Mom. 20 years. Well, the transformation at UCF during that span is nothing short of remarkable. And I know you'd be the first to say that it wouldn't have been possible without a great team of people around you. And hopefully many of them are there celebrating with you all today. We're tremendously proud of you, but not at all surprised. I hope you have a great day, and certainly many more to come. We love you.
Bonjour, Dr. and Mrs. Hitt, and happy congratulations on 20 fabulous years at UCF. I miss you so much, and I always think of my years at UCF. PLC, the tour of your home, all of the events, it was amazing. Dr. Hitt, I still wear very high heels, so I haven't changed. And even if I move to New York, I miss Florida so much, and I can't wait to see you very, very soon when I come back. Bye!
Hi Dr. Hitt, hi Mrs. Hitt. This is Crystal Rosansky, PLC alumni from 2002. And I just wanted to take a couple moments to say congratulations on your 20th anniversary at the University of Central Florida. And I hope that when you walk around the campus and you see everything, that you realize that what UCF is today and what it will be in the years to come is primarily due to your dedication and leadership efforts. As I recall the anxious trepidation that I felt on my first day as a University of Central Florida student, I never knew the incredible adventure that awaited me, in large part to everything that UCF has to offer. So I wanted to thank you for what you've done for the UCF, the institution, UCF, the faculty and student body, and the greater Orlando community, and especially for myself. Thank you again, congratulations, and I send you a big hug and a kiss, but only on this cheek, because this one still bears the mark of President Arias. Congratulations and go Knights.
Congratulations, Dr. Hitt, on your 20th year of outstanding leadership to our university. Your standards of excellence have taken UCF to a new level. I'm so grateful that I was able to be a part of our growth and can call myself a Knight. Thank you for everything that you've done, and go Knights.
Dr. Hitt, on behalf of the UCF women's basketball team, we'd like to thank you for 20 years of dedication and service to UCF. Go Knights. Happy 20th anniversary.
Dr. Hitt, we'd like to thank you for all your support. Happy 20th anniversary.
Happy 20th anniversary, Dr. Hitt.
One of my responsibilities is maintaining Dr. Hitt's calendar, and that means I try to get him where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be. Now that doesn't always happen, as you can imagine. There are conflicts here and there, but we generally say they won't start without him, which always makes me remember a time when Dr. Hitt needed to go to Tallahassee, and we had chartered a flight. He was sharing it with a couple of other distinguished people from the region, hoping to cut the cost of the trip. I got into the office early that morning. The phone was ringing. It was Dr. Hitt. He said, "Sandy, I'm standing at the airfield watching my plane take off." Fortunately, we were able to rectify that, but that's the only time I'm sure that Dr. Hitt was ever left behind. As you've heard, thanks to his leadership and vision, this university is the amazing place that it is today. Congratulations, Dr. and Mrs. Hitt, and I look forward to the adventures and opportunities and challenges that lie ahead. Thanks for taking me along for the ride. Whee!
In this morning's paper, former Governor Jeb Bush wrote the following tribute to our next speaker. For the past 2 decades, University of Central Florida President John C. Hitt has led UCF on a meteoric rise to national prominence, while creating partnerships that are producing the most significant transformation of Central Florida's economy since Disney World opened in 1971. In fact, went on former Governor Bush, I believe John Hitt and Walt Disney have done more to transform Central Florida into a vibrant, dynamic place than any 2 people in the region's history. Here then is the president of the University of Central Florida since March 1st, 1992, John C. Hitt.
As we all know, UCF stands for opportunity. For Martha and me, serving this university is our opportunity of a lifetime. And we knew it would be. The very first time we set foot on this campus, we knew we were home. During our years here, we've experienced great professional and personal support, made many dear friends, and witnessed much progress at UCF and throughout Central Florida. We are deeply gratified to contribute to the success of UCF, and we thank you, our campus family, our entire campus family, for making our experience such a meaningful and rewarding one. If you're fortunate enough to head a large and dynamic organization, people tend to credit you for much of the good that happens. And while such praise can be flattering, allow me to set the record straight. The achievements at UCF that coincide with my tenure have far more to do with you than anything I could ever do. If I worked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even with Martha helping me, I could never design and teach the courses, do all the research, build and operate the facilities, clean all the buildings, hire all of our employees, schedule all the campus events, admit all the new students, coordinate all the clubs and intramural sports, form all of the partnerships, raise all of the donor money, or accomplish all the other tasks needed to make this university a success. It takes a group effort from many people, departments, and organizations to make UCF that special place where so many students and employees desire to be. Your collaboration and pride are among the factors that distinguish UCF as a premier metropolitan research university. Earlier, Rick cited our 5 key goals that I instituted back in 1992 that still guide us today. The steady pursuit of these goals has defined much of UCF as we now know it. But the greatest catalyst for our success has been and continues to be the last goal, to be America's leading partnership university. In large part, it is because of our many partnerships that UCF thrives. The key players are members of the faculty, staff, and board of trustees, the UCF Foundation and other campus advisory boards, students and alumni, our many government, business, and nonprofit partners, and other friends who support our university. Collaboration produces a positive force that is hard to derail. This is just as I thought it would be when during my inaugural address nearly 20 years ago, I identified partnerships as the key to achieving UCF's goals. I knew that we would never have the resources we would need to take on our most significant challenges if we acted alone. But by working together and leveraging our talents with others of common cause, it was clear to me that many remarkable results could happen. Among those we have realized are the creation of the UCF College of Medicine and the cluster of facilities emerging around it, establishing a medical city at Lake Nona, said by many to be the largest economic boost for Central Florida since Disney World. The founding of the High-Tech Corridor Council, which linked the resources and talents of UCF, the University of South Florida, and the University of Florida with high-tech companies to form the bedrock of Florida's information-based economy. The formation of our Direct Connect to UCF consortium, which guarantees entry to UCF for thousands of students annually from Brevard and Lake Sumter Community Colleges, Seminole State College, and Valencia College. And the advent of many UCF facilities, such as Partnership Buildings 1, 2, and 3, the Florida Interactive Entertainment Academy, the Performing Arts Center, Bright House Network Stadium, and the UCF Arena, to name just a few. Incidentally, seeing the stadium and the arena open within the same 2-week period in 2007 was just amazing. People tend to marvel at our large student body and how fast it grows. But what matters most is the growth in the quality of our students. In 1992, the average SAT for our freshman class was 1,011. This fall, it reached 1,250. That 239-point jump represents a 24% increase, and our average score far exceeds state and national standards. How nice, by the way, to see that video greeting from UCF grad Tyler Fisher, our first Rhodes Scholar, with many more to come. The upgrading of our honors program to the Burnett Honors College was a turning point in attracting the top students we are now accustomed to enrolling. It also made a strong statement to superior students and high school leaders everywhere that UCF prizes academics and scholarship. Early on, we reinforced the foundation of UCF's growth and quality when we acquired or secured an additional $17 million a year in equity funding from the legislature. The allocation resulted from the hard work of our local legislative delegation and UCF's Dr. Dan Holzenbeck, the best lobbyist in the state university system, and of course then Provost Gary Whitehouse. And our efforts might well have been in vain had it not been for the work and guidance of then Regent Jim Heekin. The funding made all the difference as we sought to expand to meet the needs of our city-state. We've also benefited from some very generous donors. For instance, our Rosen College of Hospitality Management arose from an $18.2 million gift by hotelier Harris Rosen, who is also a charter member of our UCF Board of Trustees. Al Burnett and his dear late wife Nancy gave more than $13 million for a variety of UCF projects. And the Tavistock Group helped spur the Medical City by donating $12.5 million and 50 acres of land at Lake Nona for the College of Medicine. And many of you in this audience have made your own important contributions to the university. Another highlight of recent years is the designation of UCF by the Carnegie Foundation as a very high research activity institution. The ranking is the highest that Carnegie gives, and only 108 schools are so designated. And what a thrill to watch our athletic programs graduate from Division 1A to Division 1, from Division 1AA to Division 1A, with first the Trans-America Athletic Conference, which later changed its name to the Atlantic Sun Conference, and then to Conference USA, and starting in 2013-14 to the Big East. I know everyone will enjoy the Big East competition, along with playing the University of South Florida again during each football season. Go Knights! Someone asked me recently about my favorite sports moments at UCF. Now, there have been many, but one of them would have to be in December 2010 when our football Knights topped the Georgia Bulldogs for our first bowl victory. Another one happened that same year when our men's basketball team beat the University of Florida in the first college game played at the Orlando Magic's Amway Center. I'm ready for more of those two. Whenever you're ready, guys and gals. Education transforms lives. And I'm pleased that UCF has expanded educational access to tens of thousands of deserving students while also helping to create jobs and enhance the quality of life in Central Florida. As I reflect on my tenure at UCF, it is particularly rewarding to have seen our university become such an integral part of the progress and prosperity of our region. 20 years ago, we were an afterthought in the business community. Now it's common wisdom that no major economic development happens in Central Florida without UCF's involvement. However, it took prolonged efforts by many people to reach this point. Perhaps most of all, I'm proudest of the teamwork that has worked so well to help build this university. I've often remarked that the first rule of academic administration is, if it's worth doing, it's worth delegating. I've been fortunate to have a talented team that I could trust and count on throughout my years as president. UCF folks are determined professionals, and they're willing to take on challenges and problems. I could not possibly mention everyone who's made a difference, but some of these folks include Tom Huddleston, UCF's former Vice President for Student Development and Enrollment Services. Tom did a great deal to build an admissions program that developed and nurtured one of the fastest growing and fastest improving enrollments in the nation. Gary Whitehouse, Terry Hickey, and Tony Waldrop, the provost I've appointed, who've served this institution so well. And our vice presidents, who've done much to improve this university. Those include people like Beth Barnes and her sense of humor. Beth, the reason I wouldn't go on the 528 is because I wanted to get where the 417 took us. Martha kids me about turning on the navigation system in the car. I do that because it lets me ignore the woman's voice. An option I did not have with Beth Barnes in the passenger seat. We really appreciate Beth's service, and kidding aside, she made an enormous contribution to this university. Our current vice president, Scott Cole, our vice president and general counsel, Helen Donegan, vice president for community relations, Mary Beth Ehaws, vice president for student development and enrollment services, Deborah German, vice president for medical affairs and founding dean of the College of Medicine, Al Harms, vice president for strategy, marketing, communications, and admissions, and possessor of the longest title in the group. Robert Holmes, vice president for alumni relations and development, and also CEO of our foundation. Dan Holzenbeck, vice president for university relations. Bill Merck, vice president for administration and finance. Rick Schell, vice president and chief of staff. And M.J. Swallow, vice president for research and commercialization. Other key contributors to our success include Diane Chase, our executive vice provost for academic faculty and international affairs, and Joel Hartman, our vice provost for information technologies and resources. We have also had a number of truly outstanding deans of colleges and directors of our centers who served UCF well, along with dedicated administrative staff members and many others. I thank you all. Another major factor in UCF's success has been our outstanding governing board members. From our current and previous UCF Board of Trustees back to the time in which we had a Board of Regents. Jim Heekin, whom I mentioned earlier, former chair of the Old State Board of Regents, did much to secure some of our critical early campus funding and improvements. Our chairs of the Board of Trustees, Dick Nunes, our founding chair, Rick Walsh, and now Mickey Grindstaff, provided outstanding leadership. And don't forget that several of our charter trustees, Dick, Rick, Judy Albertson, Pat Christensen, Phyllis Clark, Conrad Santiago, Tom Yoakum, served for a decade. Two of our current trustees, Vice Chair Olga Calvet and Harris Rosen, are charter members who served longer than anyone else. All of our trustees, past and present, are devoted to UCF, and we continue to have the best Board of Trustees in Florida. Many of the successes we enjoy today are rooted in the thoughtful decisions made by the presidents before me. I owe a deep and great debt of gratitude to founding President Charlie Milliken and to his successors, Trevor Colburn and Steve Altman. And Beryl, it's good to see you here today. And I also appreciate the efforts of Bob Bryan, the interim president who served prior to my arrival. These presidents bled gold and black while they were here, and they faithfully supported UCF after their tenures ended. But no matter how much we presidents care about our institution, you cannot have a great university without a great faculty. From my first day at UCF, we've had an outstanding faculty that only gets better. I've always thought that we have far more excellence among our faculty members and students than is recognized beyond our campus. Faculty members, thank you for all the wonderful work you do and for the cooperative relationship that I've enjoyed with you. You are such a vital asset. We also thank the dedicated staff who support the faculty and me and others in the administration. Today I reserve my deepest appreciation for my ultimate partner and best friend, Martha. For 50 years, we journeyed side by side on a great adventure, and Martha is my best advisor and the greatest joy of my life. At UCF, Martha joins me during countless events, functions, and activities, and she also routinely pursues her own engagements and causes on behalf of the university. Please join me in recognizing Martha's many contributions to UCF. Thank you, Martha, for taking a chance on this Houston boy and making him look good over the years. For that alone, you deserve a heavenly reward. In 1992, a younger president at UCF, albeit one that already had white hair, dared to dream big dreams for his new university and the region it served. If there's anything I've learned in 20 years, it is that our greatest danger is not to dream too large or too big, but to dream too small. At UCF, we dream big. Our greatest limitations, friends, are those we place on ourselves. As proud as Martha and I are of UCF's triumphs, we're even more excited about UCF's future. I believe we've just begun to see what we can be and do. Yet to come are our greatest academic victories, our greatest research breakthroughs, our greatest athletic triumphs, our greatest alumni successes, our greatest fundraising results, and our greatest contributions to our region's prosperity. How can I be so sure of such things? Because I know UCF. I know our Central Florida city-state, and most of all, I know what all of us can achieve together as partners for progress. You inspire us, and it is our great privilege to serve you in the next exciting chapters for UCF and for Central Florida. Thank you for being so kind to Martha and me. Thank you for so many wonderful times to cherish, and thank you for being our partners in one of the bold success stories in American higher education. God bless you all, and as I've said a time or two before, go Knights! Thank you.
These roses are special because not only are they a beautiful flower for our beautiful First Lady, but these are Pegasus roses. So they have a special symbol for our university. Thank you so much.
Dr. and Mrs. Hitt, thank you for being role models of how you can be successful and do it with class, style, and integrity.
President Hitt and Mrs. Hitt, we would like to say congratulations on your 20th year anniversary with being with the University of Central Florida on behalf of the Black Faculty Staff Association.
We'd like to thank you for 20 years of service and commitment and share what UCF means to each of us. Inspiration, passion,
diversity,
citizenship,
and ultimately, UCF stands for opportunity.
Happy 20th anniversary and go Knights!